So you're just exploring the world and then suddenly, boom, skeleton spawner. Nice. Hello everyone, my name is Nuvela. Welcome to today's tutorial about a skeleton XP farm. Let's go. Okay, so first you want to light up the room to make sure that no skeletons spawn while you're building this farm. Then we're going to create a spawning room in which we're going to create the maximum amount of space for skeletons to spawn. You want to dig out 5 blocks from the middle to each side, and you want to dig down 3 blocks as well. In the end, you should end up with a room of 7 blocks high and 11 blocks wide. You can actually leave the blocks in the corners because we're going to build some pillars around them. In each corner, we're gonna make a stripped spruce column, which will be the corners of the spawning room. At this point, you want to decide where the killing room is going to be. So, where you're going to actually slay the skeletons. On this side, you want to build 3 blocks high oak planks, and from the top also 2 blocks high. So there should be a gap of 2 blocks in the middle. Now on all the other sides you want to alternate the layers of oak planks, because in between those layers we're going to place spruce fences. In the end it should look like this. Now let's make the first part of the light switch, which will enable you to turn on and off the spawning of skeletons. Place a stripped spruce wood on top of the spawner, place a redstone lamp on top, and then another stripped spruce wood on top of that. Make sure to break the stone block above, because this will make it easier to spot where the center point is later on in the video. To make it look like one piece, we're now going to connect this center pillar to the sides with stripped spruce wood. And you can finish it with some more detail by adding some spruce stairs on the sides. To finish off this spawning room, we're going to place some stripped oak wood in the ceiling before moving on to the next part. So for this next part, we're going to work on the killing room, which is where the skeletons will end up after they've been transported from the spawning room. This room needs to be dug out and should be 5 blocks high and 9 blocks wide and 9 blocks deep. In the end, don't forget to light up the room, because we will be working on some different areas and you don't want mobs to spawn in here. Alright, now let's finish the lamp. First create some space above the ceiling of the spawning room, and you want to dig your way towards the middle so that you can place redstone on top of the stripped spruce wood all the way to the killing room. And by using a lever, you can create a light switch. Test it out, and if it works, you can actually break the torches on the side and leave the lamp on. This will light up the entire spawning room, so no skeletons will spawn just yet. Before moving on to the next part, just make sure that you connect the light switch with a stripped spruce beam to the side. I think that looks better. So this next part is going to be a bit tricky if you're not in creative mode, so make sure that you protect yourself from fall damage. Make sure that you've lit up the room before you move on to the spawning room, in which we're going to place buckets of water in each corner. You should end up with one dry spot in the middle. From this spot, you dig down 4 blocks. Afterwards, you dig out 9 blocks in front of you, towards your killing room. Place a bucket of water at the drop point and it should dry up 2 blocks before the end of your tunnel. Place 2 spruce signs 1 block from the end. And then place a soul sand block at the end. This will in the end create a bubble column which will transport all the skeletons upwards. Okay, so now press F3 and write down your Y coordinate. In this image you can see it's 61, and now we're going to dig 30 blocks upwards. As you can see, I'm now 30 blocks higher as my Y level is 90, and now I'm going to dig 5 blocks in front of me again, so that's away from the spawning room. At this 5th block, place a spruce sign, and behind you, place a stone block on the top of the shaft, dig away 1 block and place a water bucket in the end. A water stream will flow and then delete the block at the top of the shaft so that the water will run down. And now you can dig your way down at the end of the tunnel and you should end up at the back wall of your killing room. When you get to the killing room, you should actually see a water column right in front of you, going from the top of the shaft all the way down to the soul sand. We can then start decorating the killing room, first by creating a floor. I like to create a checkerboard pattern using oak planks and stripped spruce wood. Well done! Now it's time for the main attraction of the room. We're creating a sort of transport tube through which we can see the skeletons actually being transported upwards. We'll be using some stripped spruce wood, some stripped oak wood, and glass blocks. And now it's time to actually make sure that the skeletons go upwards. So we'll create a bubble column using some kelp. Go down towards the soul sand, place it on the soul sand going upwards through the water column, and make sure you don't drown. Once you're up there, you can go down again and break the kelp. It should create a bubble column going all the way up. Nice, that's actually the hard part done. We're now going to decorate the killing room. I like to create some stripped spruce beams going from the tube to the sides of the room. Using some more stripped spruce wood, we're actually creating a killing spot. Place down a hopper and a barrel and use some trapdoors to cover it all up. You want to place the last trapdoor sideways so that you can access the barrel, which will hold your loot. What you want to do next is fill in the ceiling using some stripped oak wood. Then you want to dig away 1 block inside the walls and replace it with some stripped spruce beams going from the ceiling to the floor. Place some barrels for storage for all your loot and finish it off with some stripped oak. using some spruce stairs you can create a little bit more detail. And of course you need to light up the room. I'm using torches, but you can also use some lanterns if you've got spare iron. The last big thing is actually getting into this room, so you'll need some ladders going all the way up to the surface. How much you'll need depends on how deep your spawner is. Okay, so there's two last things you need to do. First of all, you can use some leaves to create a more cozy effect inside the killing room. But a very important part is that you need tinted glass between your killing room and the spawning room, because the light can't reach the spawning room in order for skeletons to spawn. For some reason the filming messed up here a little bit, so for the lowest level it needs to be stripped oak, then 2 layers of tinted glass, and on top of that some oak planks. Now just flip the switch, skeletons will spawn and your farm is working. If you wait just a few seconds, you should see some skeletons going upwards, and they should end up in the killing spot at the back of the room. Just wait a few moments, swing your sword, and you will get all the XP and loot you will ever need. Enjoy, leave a like if you did, and let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!